President Cyril Ramaphosa's name has resurfaced once again in the Ad Hoc Committee of Parliament. The Ad Hoc Committee of Parliament investigate the allegation leveled by the Provincial Commissioner of South African Police Service in KwaZulu-Natal, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has accused top brass in the South African Police Service, like the Deputy National Commissioner, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, of working with top criminals. And he said Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya is a criminal himself and he can't have peace with him because police officers and criminals can never have peace. It didn't end there. He also spoke of political interference in the work of the South African police services. And the Ad Hoc Committee of Parliament has called for witnesses to come and give their own testimonies so that they can make a conclusion and propose what needs to be done to save the country from this. So it happened that the fifth witness has mentioned the name of Cyril Ramaphosa and linked him with the likes of Abo Ket Matlala. As a South African citizen, you all know who is Ket Matlala, what kind of crime he was accused on or accused of, and the kind of crime that he is currently accused of. To an extent whereby Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has said Matlala is part of the top 5, and the top 5 is some sort of the highest structure in the criminal cartel, more especially in the drug syndicates. That's what Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has said. By the way, let's dive deep and ask ourselves this question: how is President Ramaphosa linked to this thing? And also in this video, we'll also explain most of the things that General Cele said, including the fact that he said prisons are the headquarters of crime in South Africa. The dangerous criminal activities that are happening in our society, they are planned, and the proposal and the execution plan, everything comes from prison. And he says we have to save the country from that. By the way, hello and welcome to Latest Daily News. My name is Letu. You are watching Hot Politicking, aka Intellectual Digestion. In this platform, that's where we digest politics on an intellectual level. We need people with the highest comprehensive skill to understand whatever we are discussing on this video. Let's start.
Winnie Mandela, Mama wa mafight.
Now I think there is no doubt that we are a mass national movement. We are not a Natal-based or a Cape-based organization. We have got membership throughout the country.
Life is difficult, but you must soldier on. Don't give up. If you are a coward, you don't belong here. But if you fight, even when things are difficult, you keep on fighting. This is your home. Welcome to the home of black people who never.
So, this is what is happening. Ubheki Cele was appearing before the ad hoc committee for the past 2 days, on Thursday and on Friday. And when he was appearing there, the ANC chief whip asked him a question. Because he was asked about his association with people like Abo Ket Matlala, which he never disputed or denied that he was in contact with Ket Matlala, and he even stayed in the place or in the apartment of Ket Matlala. He agreed to that, and when he was asked why, he said no one can refuse freebies, and he is not working anymore. He's no longer a minister. He's not forced to declare, but if he was forced or he was still a minister, he was going to declare to parliament as required. That's number one. Because he's no longer a minister, he's not forced to state that to anyone or to even declare that he's staying in the house of Ket Matlala. So he saw no need to even tell the public. And he said that he enjoys the freebies. They asked him, don't you think this man is expecting something from you? He said, no. I mean, if he didn't say he wants something. And I accepted because I wanted it, and I'm not paying anything, and it's a good apartment though, which is something that got me out. like on a serious note, I was like, how can Minister Cele say this? But I guess it was part of the things that he said. But I like the fact that he never disputed that. That's one of the things that made his submission to parliament authentic. That's one of the things that made South Africans to fall in love with Bekitele after giving his testimony, because I see the public is so happy and they're celebrating Minister Cele. They're appreciating him like some sort of a leader or some sort of a person who it's one of the liberators of this country because of the evidence he gave. In his evidence, he incriminated a lot of people. As I said, the ANC chief whip asked him about his association with Ket Matlala, sorry, and he said that don't he think that he is tarnishing the name of the ANC by associating himself with people like Abu Ket Matlala, which led to a serious problem, because that's when Bekitele decided to mention that Ket Matlala is not only known by him, even Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of the country, knows people like Ket Matlala to an extent whereby he said, Cyril Ramaphosa, there is a video of him with Ket Matlala. Sorry, he said there is a picture of him with Ket Matlala that is on the public platform. I haven't seen that picture. I looked for it in all the social media platforms. I tried searching on internet. I found none. But according to Minister Cele, there is a picture of Cyril Ramaphosa with Ket Matlala. And I hope and believe as soon as possible, we are going to find the picture of Ket Matlala with Cyril Ramaphosa.
Chairperson, when I met Matlala, I was not arrested. I did not even know that he's a wanted for the things that are there. By the way, many of the leaders of Matlala, leaders of the movement, have been seen with Matlala. I hope you have seen his photo with the president. I hope you have, yeah. It's public, is there. There is one problem about photos. It's a serious problem. I'm not sure whether, I know one person that they take a lot of photos with this Julius, Honorable Malem. And then
I don't have a photo with Matlala. Never.
Well, at least Usbaru. So, and then these photos, you find them moving around. So, and you really say, did I check this one? You know this Matlala issue. There is a photo that I've taken recently. I was not even aware that one person has changed here. So now, when he moves around and you see that there are changes, you realize, yeah, man. So at this level, it can happen when people. But I agree with you that at the top level, there must be people that are protecting to say, but you can't take it without shouting. So this picture can't be there and all that kind of thing. So I agree with you on that one.
By the way, I need to clarify something. Ket Matlala is an ANC member. There is a picture of him in some sort of an ANC gathering or conference or something. I've seen a picture of Ket Matlala in those kind of things. That to me confirms that Ket Matlala is not just an ordinary person to the ANC, but he is also a member of the ANC. Is the picture that I displayed on the screen. And you can't tell me that someone of Ket Matlala's caliber can just take a step and say, I'm going to undertake a process of attending a gathering in ANC while I'm not a member. Those are busy people pushing serious tenders and serious contracts. So whenever they attend the event, you know it's either he's a member or he has some sort of self-benefit within whatever he's going to attend. So one thing that I'm trying to say is that there are more chances of Cyril Ramaphosa knowing Ket Matlala on a personal level. There are more chances of you finding a picture of Ket Matlala and Cyril Ramaphosa. Remember, Ket Matlala is a business person. So business people and politicians, they always align. And he said that Mkhunu and Brown Muhotsi, there was a time where they met to discuss Ket Matlala funding the campaign of Mkhunu becoming the deputy president or the president of the country. Now it makes sense why Mkhunu is being pursued like this. And I'm not saying Mkhunu is innocent by me saying that it's pursued. You know, in the political spectrum of South Africa, everyone unama flaws wake. Everyone uneyinkinga zakhe. So whenever you want to contest power, you need to ensure that the people who knows your problems, they are not contesting. Because if it's possible that they are contesting, they will crush you with those things. They will take it to the media and it will deal with you. As we speak today, the political ambitions of Senzo Mchunu, I don't think they're legit anymore. Because if ANC fronts Senzo Mchunu to be the presidential candidate in 2029, it's clear that the ANC is going to lose election drastically. ANC can move from 40% to 3% if they put Mchunu as their presidential candidate going to 2029. So I can say that that was to end the dream, the presidential dream of Minister Senzo Mchunu. By the way, Ubheki Cele has said Mchunu was not supposed to disband any structure in the police service. Number one, he said if Mchunu wanted that, he should have spoken to the National Commissioner, because the National Commissioner is the one given authorities and powers to establish and de-establish any structure in the police service. So Mchunu should have spoken to the National Commissioner, and it should have been an agreement between Mchunu and the National Commissioner. He also said the letter to say immediately is not realistic. He said, this is the thing that he said. He said that to say the political killings task team, it's no longer needed, it's not realistic, because it has not accomplished its work. He said task team are given a certain period of time, but the things that lead to task team being expanded, number one, it's the mission being accomplished. And he said most of councillors in eThekwini municipality, they still have bodyguards. And he said like 50% of them, they have bodyguards. The municipality must pay bodyguards and their securities because their lives are not safe. And that on its own, it shows that the work of the political killings task team is not done, because councillors, they still kill each other. He said even in like a stronghold of a political party, let's just say it's a stronghold of the EFF. In the stronghold of the EFF, where someone knows good, even if I kill this councillor, I can, and then we go for re-election, I will enter. That's where the political killings are happening. So that on its own, it shows that the job of the political killings task team has not ended. Number two, he said that Mchunu, for him to disband the task team, he should have met with other ministers that are working or who formed the cluster that established the political killings task team. Remember, with that cluster of ministers, or that MIS, that interministerial, that IMC, interministerial committee that established the political killings task team, was called by the president. He said he should have spoken to the national commissioner. After that, he went to meet with the ministers related, and then from there, that's when they can decide who they're de-establishing it, and they must go to the president and tell him that this is what we're thinking, and let the president approve or give his blessings on the disestablishment of the political killings task team. So with whatever that Mchunu did, it was not in the right procedure. He avoided saying it's illegal, but he said it's not the right procedure of how things are done. And that on its own, it shows that Mchunu has overstepped ama-responsibilities wakhe as a minister. But it didn't end there. Minister Mchunu also implicated Cyril Ramaphosa. He said President Ramaphosa was aware of everything that is happening. He said President Cyril Ramaphosa knew that the political killings task team was going to be disbanded, and he approved it. But to my surprise, and this is one thing that Ubheki Cele has raised, by the way, he said, you can't tell me that you informed the president 2 months after you've issued the letter of disbandment with an immediate effect, because you said immediately on the letter. Even though Mchunu argues the immediately, saying that the immediately was not immediate, but well, we will understand. He's playing with English there, and I think it is lawyers that told him that. You know, one thing that made Ubheki Cele to sound authentic, or to gain the love of South Africans and to be understood by South Africans, is the fact that Ubheki Cele said, he's going to speak his truth, and he indeed spoke something that sounded like the truth in the ears of South Africans. That's number one. Number two, It's because Peggy Cele, it's the first witness from the other side that came to Parliament, number one, without notes, number two, without lawyers, number three, without giving prolonged answers unnecessarily. He gave his answers straight and short. You can see that is the person who wanted to leave the ad hoc committee as soon as possible, because I even heard the chairperson of the committee saying that Peggy Cele told him that he wants to leave by tomorrow, which was Friday. So and he said, if you cooperate well and you answer fast, then you're gonna leave as such. And Peggy Cele tried by all means to cooperate, and he left on time. So I think Peggy Cele was one of the most reliable witnesses that we have so far. Siyabonga Ndosi, siyabonga Xele. Even though usibite ngeyinunu Nkosi yami, siyinunu kuwe, but well, siyakuxolela Xele, because you have given us what we want as the citizens of this country. So I don't know what you guys think, but I think we are not moving in the right direction as a country. If even our president find his name mentioned in the ad hoc committee and relating him with criminals, number one, like Aboket Matlala, number two, find himself being said that he approved the disbandment of the political killing task team, really, for me, that's a red flag for the president to do so. But Peggy Cele has said a lot of things that I think they're very important to touch. Number one, he said the dangerous criminal activities that are happening in our society, they are planned in prison. That's something that I don't take lightly. I take very serious that most criminal activities, they are planned in prison. And if we want to deal with crime in South Africa, we need to restrict prison. He complained that in prison, you just go and raid prison now, take phones. In the next 1 hour, if you come back, you will get other phones. That's what he said, that who bring those phones? Who brings those phones? Because you raid prison, you take phones, you take the weapons, you take everything. But when you come back after an hour, the same weapons you took, you will find similar ones. Which is something that I thought it's very interesting to find. And he said that one of the biggest problems is that in South Africa, we spend 13,000 per month for each and every prisoner or a criminal, but we only give 350 rand for a law-abiding citizen who just have freedom, which is not something new, because even Lieutenant General Ndala Mkhwanazi have raised similar matter, that we spend like close to 500 and something or 600 rand a day on a prisoner, but we spend 350 on an unemployed law-abiding citizen. He said we need to restructure this thing. And I think that's something that needs to be considered. We can't spend that much. Prison, I think, man, we need to make it a place whereby people will be afraid of going there. Will be afraid of going there. People, we must make sure that they are afraid of going to prison. Afraid of going to prison. By the way, as things stands now, Vusimuzi Ket Matlala, it's a criminal accused. It's not a criminal. It's not confirmed until the court confirm. Even though Mkhwanazi is not even alleging, it's clear that he is a criminal. But as things stands, I want to clarify this, that he is a criminal accused. He is not yet an official criminal declared by the jury. So please, guys, understand that. And I'm saying this to avoid litigations, because I noted what I said in my video previously as the video was going. I'm avoiding litigations. These men have not been confirmed a criminal, even though as we speak, he's in the maximum prison, but that doesn't make him a criminal. It's a criminal accused, waiting for the jury to prove him correct or incorrect. South African law says innocent until proven guilty. Let's hope and believe that truth will manifest itself and the final conclusion will be in favor of the truth. What is the truth? I don't know. Only the evidence presented before the judge will tell. In the meantime, let me love and leave you. And if you like what we're doing here in this channel, please do us a favor, subscribe. And if you have an economic power or the financial muscle and you want to assist us, use the details on the screen and donate, and we will really appreciate that. Also, we are introducing Iswati Guy cars. Here it's where you tell us what kind of a car you want, and we go around looking for it for you, and you give us your budget. Second-hand cars, and you give us your budget. We'll go around looking it for you, and then from there, we'll come back to you and tell you we got it at this price. Then now you will have to pay us a certain commission. So I hope and believe that you enjoy what we are doing here. I'm trying my level best, guys, to give you the booming content, and even the editing that I'm doing now. It's a lot, it takes time. So please, guys, let's support. From my side, Uletu and my team in the latest daily news, especially the guy who edit my content. Thank you very much, my man. You're working very good, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. There's a guy that I have now who edits my content, and yeah, man, I'm impressed. I must say, I'm impressed. Like, really, I'm impressed. So yeah, that's all I had for now. Let me love and leave you. From Mina Uletu and the latest daily news team. We're out. Shalom.
Winnie Mandela, mama wa mabati.
Iyabuza ANC ivuza vu.
Now, I think there is no doubt that we are a mass national movement. We are not a Natal-based or a Cape-based organization. We have got membership throughout the country.
Life is difficult, but you must soldier on. Don't give up. If you are a coward, you don't belong here. But if you fight, even when things are difficult, you keep on fighting. This is your home. Welcome to the home of black people who never